I'm Micheline Pitt, and I'm an artist, filmmaker, and designer living here in Los Angeles, California, and I've been collecting My Pet Monster since I was 3 years old.
He's big.
And scary.
And helps people, too.
And he's your friend, too.
My Pet Monster plays all day.
Tough.
Awesome.
Looking great.
And all your friends will want him for their friends, too.
Nostalgia has a massive part of my collection and me collecting. The core items that I have in my collection were all based around toys and items from my childhood. Things that I had lost, things that had been thrown away, donated, given away. So when I look at the things on my walls and the things that are in my home, it brings a lot of joy to me because it reminds me of being a kid. It reminds me of like the happy moments of being a kid. So for me, my collection is just nothing but nostalgia. So My Pet Monster is a plush toy animated TV show and live action film.
This is like some sort of very gross nightmare.
Tell me about it.
That came from American Greeting Card Company in 1986. That was pretty much how it was done in the 80s. You either started with a show and then made toys, but usually that's how you think it is. But in most cases, it actually is the opposite. It's, here's this toy, now we need an animated show to go with it.
My Pet Monster, my very, very bestest friend. My Pet Monster, a monster of a friend. A monster of a friend.
It literally is a story about a kid and schoolmates and this monster that go, zany, crazy things happen, and sometimes he kind of gets them in trouble. It's a little bit of like Cat in the Hat. It doesn't really do a lot. It's really just kind of like, oh, hey, here's our toy doing things. I was such a little kid when I got my Pet Monster, like 2 to 3 years old. From what I understand from my mother is I saw this thing and I just like, kid, I want that.
Anything you want. Anything?
That's what I want. I want that. I was like, I would point every time I go to the toy store, like that's what I wanted. And she didn't want to get it for me. She's like, it's ugly. Like, why do you want this ugly thing? My mom ended up getting it for me, so I must have just like thrown a fit because we were really poor, and I can imagine that toy was probably really expensive back in 1986. And for me to get a new store-bought toy was not normal. Like, I usually got toys secondhand. Very similar from the mom from Child's Play.
There you go, lady. May it bring you and your kid a lot of joy.
Thank you.
Like, this may have fallen off the back of a truck. I don't know where this thing came from. Didn't have a curse on it, thank God. And I just called him Pickle Nose, like that was his name. I don't know, it was like a little kid. I called my dog Mutt. It's a step away from calling, this is Dog. His name is Dog. I wasn't the most creative, 3-year-old. Just so everybody knows, these are pretty rare. These are UK releases exclusively of My Pet Monsters. They were much smaller. They had hard plastic faces. It's the only time you can see the villain, Beasture.
Wow. Yikes.
He was never released at all in the United States. For us, he was only released in the UK market. He was the main villain. He was like his big thug. I honestly can't remember why he's wearing a football outfit. I know that football was like a major thing in the story, like the comic, like kids cartoon, coloring books, and the little children's books. He played sports. He's in a rock band in my version of my coloring book. The other things that they made were these little mini My Pet Monster toys in various colors, and they are actually puppets.
My Monster Pets have puppet action features, part of the My Pet Monster collection.
And the big ones are just big, cool, ugly monster toys. So we all have Holy Grail items. I've actually acquired a lot of mine. I've sold and gotten them again. But as far as like things I feel like I'm never gonna own, a couple years ago, there was an article about a guy that found a bunch of My Pet Monster prototypes, as well as original artwork for the prototypes in My Pet Monster. Those are probably never gonna be let go. If he is watching this and decides to let them go, you can contact me and we can discuss price. But yeah, I feel like that's gonna be like my Holy Grail item. Like, I'm never gonna get it unless, he dies. Or murdered.